Hello and welcome to the channel. Karma catches up to us all, whether good or bad. But that is why we should strive to do good, because we will get the reward. The same goes for bad. No matter how long it takes, sometimes in no time at all, it catches up to you. This piece is centered on Nigeria's outgoing president on how he, before becoming president in 2015, fought against the Goodluck Jonathan's administration on petrol subsidy, calling it corrupt. It only took 8 years. Less to be fair, but karma caught Buhari so bad that his government will go down as having spent the most amount in petrol subsidy in Nigeria's history. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. How Buhari spent 8 trillion naira on non-existent petrol subsidies. Before he won the 2015 presidential election, President Muhammadu Buhari led the opposition party, the All Progressives Congress (APC), in grand opposition to the removal of petrol subsidies. President Buhari's contention then was that there was no subsidy on petrol and that the government then under President Goodluck Jonathan was corrupt and was looking for ways to fraudulently enrich themselves at the expense of the Nigerian masses. 8 years down the line and with just days before the end of his 2 terms in government, President Buhari is leaving the country with the highest amount spent on subsidizing petrol in Nigeria's history. According to oil and gas industry reports conducted by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, the cost of petrol subsidy from 2015 to 2020 was 1.99 trillion naira. Also, reports by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) to the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee (FAAC) show that petrol subsidy cost 1.57 trillion naira in 2021 alone, and another 1.27 trillion naira from January to May 2022. The government has a budget of 3 trillion naira to cover petrol subsidy costs from June 2022 to June 2023. An aggregation of the entire costs show that under President Buhari, the government would have spent 7.83 trillion naira on petrol subsidies. In 2015, while Nigeria's 4 refineries located in Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna operated below full capacity, they produced about 6 million liters of petrol daily for local consumption, with President Buhari, through the then Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kashiku, assuring Nigerians that the refineries would return to full capacity by the end of that year. It never happened. In 2017, the refineries were partially shut down for maintenance, but 2 years later in 2019, with no headway, the refineries were completely grounded. The president leaves in about 3 weeks' time, with the refineries still under rehabilitation and badly mismanaged. In 2021, helped by loans from the African Development Bank, NNPC announced that it would completely overhaul the Port Harcourt refinery at the cost of $1.5 billion. The refineries in Warri and Kaduna are also undergoing similar process. Speaking to Saturday Vanguard, oil and gas governance expert Mr. Henry Adigon said by his failure to resolve the petrol subsidy issues in 8 years, President Buhari is leaving the situation worse than he met it. Mr. Adigan said the politics and emotion around the issue have pushed the country into a huge debt burden. Adding, President Buhari lacked an understanding of how big the issue was and how it could be tackled. According to him, the first thing is you cannot manage properly what you do not understand. Most times our politicians talk from emotion and lack of facts. At times, they do not take professional advice and would let you know how long they have been in government. The man didn't believe there was a subsidy, and they all assumed it was corruption. But when they came in and it stared them in the face, then they learned. And when they learned, they now had to make harsh decisions. Buhari made one in 2016 when he raised a pump price from 87 naira to 145 naira. But he didn't sustain. That point in time was the time to allow it to go once and for all, but he capped it. by capping it and not providing enough foreign exchange for other importers, but allowed only NNPC to become the sole importer of the product in the country, they made the situation worse. That led to the problem they are having now. What they have done in the last 8 years is to make it worse for the country, make it worse for the incoming administration. They have ballooned the cost and the volume. They failed because they never understood the problem and they made it political. He explained that NNPC became the sole importer of petrol due to economic reason, stressing that the difference the exchange rate approved for the NNPC compared to the other importers made it impracticable for the others to import and remain profitable. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. Adigan therefore urged the incoming administration to settle first and understand the problem before taking a decision on the petrol subsidy challenge. He noted that the government should eventually hands off any role in the downstream sector and allow the private sector run for the growth and economic development of the country. The cash the private sector has can bail Nigeria out, but the private sector will not invest in areas where they cannot get good returns. Look around you in Abuja and Lagos. You will see everybody investing in real estate or fintech. That is because it is where they can get good returns. It is not the business of the government to build or rehabilitate refineries, he added. He advocated phased removal of subsidy rather than having it in one swoop, stressing that in the past 2 years, government has increased electricity tariffs several times, thereby eliminating the subsidy on power. Let's have something like a 3 months phased removal because it will become a political issue with labor unions opposed to it, he stated, warning that the new government will struggle to fund its operations except it resorts to huge borrowing policy like Buhari has done. Subsidy under Buhari's regime. 2015, 316.70 billion naira was spent. In 2016, 99 billion naira. 2017, 141.63 billion naira was spent on subsidy. In 2018, 722.30 billion naira. 2019 saw 578.7 billion naira spent on subsidy. In 2020, 133.73 billion naira. 2021 had its highest amount, 1.573 trillion naira was spent on subsidy. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.